Greetings and welcome everyone. My name is Lakita Maka. Thank you so much for joining me. If you are new to this channel, please subscribe. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. Thank you so much for your support. So as promised, I am coming again with yet another video on the Promise series, non-profit organizations, or rather the civic society organizations. So there are a lot of issues that we are currently experiencing as a continent, not only as a country but as a continent at large. Issues of poverty, issues of unemployment, the issues of teenage pregnancy, education that is not equal, the issues of like basically environmental issues, climate change, like so on and so forth. So there are a lot of issues, society issues that we are experiencing, and there are a lot of individuals that have solutions to these issues. There are a lot of people who are actually creating an impact out there, with solutions, like proven solutions, in ensuring that there is practices on mitigating climate change. There are practices on adapting to climate change. There are issues or practices on reducing poverty, reducing unemployment, ensuring that there is quality education in South Africa and in Africa at large. So now I am coming to you with a winning formula, right, that will ensure that your organization is sustainable. So now let's say you have decided on that organization. Now you have an idea of what you actually want to do, right? You know what you're doing, and maybe you have piloted the project and it's actually working, or maybe not, right? You just want to do this, and like you just want to make sure like everything goes right, you answer the correct questions. And yeah, I have actually, as you can see, I've got a pencil with me because I was writing something down. I've got a paper here because I don't want to forget anything, and I want to come with a winning formula. And instantly I thought of the social business canvas model that I think, let me share this with other people. So before you actually, let's say you have started that organization, you have registered it or you haven't registered it, but I think these are important questions that you need to answer. And the nice thing with the social business model canvas, or the social business canvas model, is that you can actually answer all the questions that have to do with your organization in just one page. Now, how cool is that? So let's get to this. Now, the first thing that you need to pay attention to is the social value proposition. Now, those who are not into social entrepreneurship, they will know this as a value proposition. So it's like it's the same thing, like the value proposition. Like, what value are we going to deliver to the customer? But now in terms of the social enterprises or social organizations, now we would then ask this question in such a manner that we refer to the customers as beneficiaries. So what value do you deliver to the beneficiaries or your customers, right? So now you have identified a problem. Now you need to find that unique value proposition. So what is it that sets you apart from other organizations, right? Now, once you are able to answer that, right, you need to identify your key partners. Who are your key partners? Who are your key suppliers? Who are the key people that you will be working with, right? And now you move on. That is the second one, right? Now, once you are able to answer that, now what are the key activities? So you can either start with the key activities before you actually start thinking of the key partners, right? But what are your key activities? Now, what key activities now does our value proposition, our social value proposition require? So you need to ask yourself that question. All right. Now, once you are able to ask that question and you move on to the other one, the key resources, right? Now, what key resources, like what resources does our value proposition require? So everything that we have to do in this organization has to be guided by the value proposition. Right? What is the value that are we delivering to the beneficiary, to the organization? So you need to ask yourself that question. Now, once you are able to ask yourself that question, then all the other questions that you will be asking yourself will be much easier. Right? Now, once you are able to understand the resources that you need, right? And then you look into the beneficiaries now. So some people will then answer this immediately after understanding the value proposition, or immediately they think of the question, right? Like there is no order in this, but these are the key things that you need to pay attention to. So whether you start with identifying your customer segments or your beneficiaries, then you go to your value proposition, or you start with your value proposition, then you come to your customer segments, then you look at the key activities, then you look at the key partners. But at the end of the day, you need to sit down and understand that, okay, can I answer all these? Are all these clear? Can I write this in one page? If I'm in a lift with someone trying to explain my organization, can I finish that by the time we reach the top floor? So that's what you need to ask yourself and be able to answer. So now, this value proposition now, who are you creating it for? You know the problem. You have identified the problem. You know how to solve it. Who are you solving this problem for? Who are your customer segments? Be able to answer that. What activities are you going to do in ensuring that this value proposition is fulfilled? What resources do you need? Who are your partners? Okay. So we have attended to 5 components, right? 5 components. Okay. Now, the channels, the issue of channels. Now, through which channels do now our customer segments want to be reached, or are we able to reach? Right? Now, this is the issue. If you are conducting an organization, or you're starting an organization for old people, obviously you're not going to reach old people through Facebook, TikTok, WhatsApp, or whatsoever. You need to find a platform that is going to be suitable for old people. And if you're doing this organization for young people, especially AMA 2000 guys, you're not going to do that through newspapers, through a radio. Because most of them currently, like nowadays, they are on TikTok. Most of them are on social media. Most of them are on YouTube. So you need to find platforms that will be relevant to them. So try to be relevant by all means. Understand your target. Who is your target market, and how are you going to reach that target market? Who is your audience here? you are trying to reach out to artists, then you know where you're gonna find artists. If you are a teacher like myself, then you need to find ways of reaching the customer segments that is going to be relevant. If you are establishing a new educare in a particular area, you need to understand the dynamics in that area. I hope this makes sense. Then now, once you understand that, then you need to look into the issues of cost structure. Now, what are the important costs in this organization? What are the important costs in our business model? Which key resources are the most expensive? Which key resources are less expensive or reasonable? Which key activities are most expensive? Which key activities are less expensive or are reasonable? So those are the things that you need to answer. Then you move now to the revenue streams. That is number 8. Revenue streams. Now, for what value are our customers now really willing to pay or are able to pay? How are we going to source funds? Who are we going to go to? Like, what is our fundraising strategy? How are we going to raise funds? As much as it's a non-profit organization, but we need to make sure that it is sustainable. We need to make sure that we are able to sustain it even if we don't have a grant, right? Then the last thing that you can ask yourself, or the last question, is the issue of measuring impact. Now, what is the impact are we aiming at? How are we going to measure that impact? How are we going to do that? Because if you identify a problem and you've come with a solution, then you need to make sure that you are able to create a monitoring and evaluation plan that will work for you so that you are able to measure the impact, because we are trying to create impact here. We are trying by all means to change Africa for the better. So maybe other things that you can also look at are the risks that are involved here. What are the risks? What are the limitations of starting this organization? So you ask those questions. You are able to explain that in less than 2 minutes. Try by all means to explain that in less than 2 minutes. Try to draft your social business model canvas in less than in 1 page. Now, this is something that is interesting to a funder, and that will not waste the funder's time. Because if you are going out there to pitch, you just pull up your social business canvas model, and then you just talk over it, and you're done. It actually touches on everything. So guys, yes, thank you so much for joining me. If you find this useful, please give it a thumbs up, press that like button, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. Please let me know, guys, what else you want me to discuss. So yes, I will be continuing with what I think of, anything that comes up to my mind when it comes to creating and sustaining social business model canvas. And yeah, let's go out there, change our continent, guys, change our countries, one person at a time. Otherwise, that's it for me. Thank you so much for joining me. Love and light from my side. Until next time.